Willie D Live.
What's up, family? A mystery is unfolding on Bell Mountain in Towns County after the bodies of twin brothers from Lawrenceville were discovered nearly 90 miles from home. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation is initially treating the case as a murder-suicide, but the family of the boys says not so fast, because, as they put it, the explanation just don't add up. I ain't got no problem with that. Investigate the investigators. That's right. Let me tell you something I know, fam. And I've been covering a lot of stories like this. I've been watching this stuff for years happen. Usually, when the police are quick to say something is a murder-suicide without doing any investigation, it usually means murder cover-up. That's right, I said it. Murder cover-up. Family, do not let go. Fight, fight, fight. Get your own independent investigator. That's right. Get your own independent coroner. That's right. Do not trust them. They are notorious for not giving your kind justice. So here's the backstory. 19-year-olds Kydir and Nazir Lewis were both found shot to death Saturday morning by a hiker at the summit of Bell Mountain near the North Carolina border. The discovery came as a shock to their family, who had believed the twins were in Boston visiting friends at the time. The family says the twins were inseparable. Furthermore, the twins didn't fight each other. The twins watched each other's back. They looked after each other. The family said the brothers had booked a flight to Boston for 7 a.m. last Friday, but never made their flight. Just 24 hours later, they were found dead in an area the family said they had never visited before. The family said the brothers' plane tickets were found in their wallets on the mountain. They must think we're really stupid. They want us to believe that those boys purchased airline tickets to fly to Boston to kick it with their friends. But instead of flying to Boston to kick it with their friends, they decide to stuff their pockets with their airline tickets and drive 90 miles away from home and climb the top of a mountain they've never been to before, just to off themselves via gunfire. Either law enforcement on this case is incompetent or something nefarious is going on. Do we need to go and dig Sherlock Holmes out the ground to get on this case? Because it don't take a whole lot. This is common sense, man. I ain't even been to the academy and I know something is going on here. If I was on the case, I'd find out what happened. I'd find out. Because I know that ain't no murder-suicide. That's my common sense that would tell me that. That's before I go and try to find any type of video, and I'm sure it's video somewhere. I'm sure it's video all around. If they want to solve this case, they can solve it. If they want to get down to the bottom of it and find out who killed those boys, they can find out. But something tells me, because they jump to that conclusion so fast, usually when they do this, they do not find the killer. Usually, when they say murder-suicide, or they say, oh, it was a suicide, when they quick to do that, they telling you pretty much we're done. We ain't trying to find out who did it. Or, you know what, we already know, but we ain't trying to let y'all know. That's what they're doing. That's how I interpret it. Yeah. Look at all of these cases where they've found that this black person got killed or this black person supposedly hung themselves, and all these people hanging themselves. And when they say initially that it was a suicide, they never come back with anything different. They never find suspects or anything. It's always suicide or it was an accident. They never come back and clean it up. They never discover a culprit. Never. That tells me that there is a whole lot of corruption going on. That tells me that black folks ain't safe in those parts. Yeah, that tells me that the investigator needs to be investigated. Another thing, did they check those boys' bodies? That's why the parent needs, the family need to do an independent investigation and an independent autopsy. They need to check to see if those boys even have organs inside of their bodies. The family said they knew right away that the police account of events were untrue. They know those boys. They said the boys don't even know nothing about Bear Mountain. They ain't never been there. They're not mountain climbers. They're not mountain enthusiasts. They've never been there. They wouldn't even know how to get there. How did they end up there? I'm going to tell you straight out the gate, fam. I don't need no cosigner. I believe the family. I straight up believe the family, and I would not trust GBI. I would go further than that. I would not trust him because there have been cases in the past where they covered for local law enforcement. That's right, I said it. There have been times in the past where they have covered for local law enforcement and cases went unsolved. They just say, oh, it was a suicide. Even when they find black people hanging, it was a suicide. They can find somebody black hanging with scratches all over their neck, skin, and their fingernails, no shoes on, and glass on the ground with no blood. But they got up there some kind of way and hung themselves. And their feet had no cuts, but there was glass on the ground. Get out of here, man. I don't believe it, fam. I don't believe it. Anytime they rush to judgment like that, I don't believe it. You got to consider what the family has to say, no matter what you see. You got to consider what the family have to say. You cannot just come to these conclusions like that. You got to consider what the family has to say. And if the family is saying these boys were inseparable, they never fought each other, they looked after one another, you got to investigate. That means somebody killed those boys. And can't nobody tell me different. But what say you? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.